this is what drugs, the effect that drugs can have on the family.
It's unthinkable. Mothers get abused. You know, like, I know it's a drug is something. It's more like a disease now. He got used to it. He's into it. If he doesn't have it, he's gonna harm himself. There are lots of suicide because of the drugs as well.
There have been drug-related deaths in Tower Hamlets in the past. It's not unheard of. But I think what we should be looking at is like you said, when we talk about drugs, we talk about the effect on the individuals. But I think there are, like you're alluding to, there are a lot of effects on the community, and then in a minute scale on the family that we're missing out on. Things like, we're not actually helping much, and this is something we need to start doing more as a community. I mean, we get calls like mothers. Imagine the psychological impact of this mother, and unfortunately it's always the mothers who are the ones who are reaching out for help. And one has to start asking the question, where are all the fathers gone? Where are the fathers?
I was going to ask you, honestly, I was going to ask you.
I mean, I know where they are. They just turn a blind eye. There's two reactions from the father. Either they become very aggressive and scream and shout in the first instance, and then get him out the house, kick him out the house, and the end of story. Or they're too busy doing their own things, some of them, just doing their 5 daily prayers and not worried about what's happening in the family. And it's always the mothers who pick up the pieces, and in fact the sisters, even brother-in-law, the sister-in-laws are picking up the pieces. They're the ones who are actually calling us. Very rarely do we get fathers calling us saying, my son's on drugs. It's always the mothers. So it's the mothers who are the backbone of the family. We know that is the case, but they shouldn't be left to deal with all the consequences of a son or a daughter who's using drugs. And the fathers need to start paying a bit of attention, supporting the family a bit more. But imagine what's going through a mother when they call us and they think it's like Bangladesh or Pakistan or India, where they physically call us and say, please come and physically take my son. He's here now. Please take him into your treatment center. Meaning, in other words, us to go down there with the 3 or 4 people in the car, put him in the car, bring him into treatment. And she's in tears. She's crying like mad. You can't, she's calling, in Bengali, you say like, my son, they're calling me, my son, please, you're my son, please take my son. Come and take my son into your treatment service. And we have to explain to them, we can't do that. We can't just physically go and pick him up. If he doesn't want to get treatment in this country, we can't do nothing. Nobody can do nothing. The person has to get and want to get treatment. That's one issue. Second issue is when she starts saying, I have one case, for example, she had an older sister and she was coming up to, in our community, the women tend to get married a bit earlier, and then there's issues about community culture and so forth. And she was coming up to her 30s and no proposal would succeed because the son isn't a non-drug user. So now this mother, the father's absent, she's dealing with the son who's using, and now she's got a daughter, she's not able to get any marriage proposal go through because that's the culture that she's operating in. How is she dealing with that in her mind? What's going on in her mind every night? So psychologically, there's a big impact on that family, a big impact on that mother, big impact on that sister who's unable to get married.